is it like this?
The hater should be love, we invite him. Oh, it's ages since I've heard that, like the proper start, you know what I mean?
I know, right? I feel like, one, we need a new song.
Yeah.
And also, someone needs to tell me how I can play one at the start of one of these.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's slightly different setup, isn't it?
Yeah, there's got to be a smart way that I'm not thinking of that would actually work. Yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry, we are 3 minutes late, guys.
I think that's quite the record.
Let's just be happy that we can hear and see both of us. We weren't quite sure at the start, but it seems to have for now. I don't want to jinx it. Now I've jinxed it.
Good evening to Jost in the chat. You was in there waiting before we even got started. We've got Dane join. Hey girls. What's the laughing face all about? Is that because we're actually here and it's not even 5 past yet?
And you can hear us and see us.
Yeah, I get it. It's a big joke.
Well, to be honest, mate, it's nice to see that something's actually going right for once.
Oh God, everything goes exactly how it's supposed to, Steph.
And I'm hoping that you can guide me with some of that wisdom. However, it really shouldn't be that way around. Like, you're the one that should be having the support right now, but you seem to be the one that's the most coolest and calmest and most cucumberist of all.
Well, it's just that, you know, sometimes you think, what else is there to? Well, you have a choice, don't you? You either try and look on the positive side, or you just lose your shit. So,
No, definitely.
they're the choices. And to be honest, I've just had a phone call from the ECU test centre.
Okay.
To let me know that they haven't got the correct equipment to test it. So, so I'm feeling slightly overwhelmed. But it kind of is my own fault. Like, so it was recommended to me, that ECU test centre, by somebody that I know and that I'm close to and that is a mechanic, but I didn't double check that they deal with buses, if you see what I mean. So they took it on hoping that they would have the right equipment, but they hadn't. So then in the meantime, the one that you sent me that Mel had sent to you, that's the one that had kept coming up through my comments anyway. So I rang them straight away, explained the situation. I'm picking it up from one place tomorrow, dropping it at that place. And they said they're going to work on it as a matter of urgency. And so I should know by Friday if there's a problem.
Wow.
So in a way, there's no added delay, because I was expecting Friday to find out from this one. It's just that I've now got like about 4 hours, 5 hours of driving to do, to go pick it up, get it to the next one. But, you know, we roll. We do what we need to do.
If you need any help or any escorting, by all means, let me know.
Just cheer me on. I just all the positive vibes is very welcome right now.
Everyone in the chat, please. And Mel, if you're watching, if that lead ends up coming from you, thank you so much. And even for the effort that you've put in already, like, I seem to remember when they messaged on Instagram, they were like, we met at the thing. I was like, you don't have to remind me. I remember who you are. And I was like, and I do slightly remember you being a bit of a whiz kid when it comes to like engines and stuff. I remember them picking up on the bus and stuff like that. So thank you so much. I suppose that's the beauty of having a community, right? There's going to be someone.
Well, that's the thing. That is the thing. That's why, you know, the first few times when I was first doing the bus project right at the start, after that first video went viral and I got so much negativity, I stopped reaching out for help because I was so put off by those few. And it is always the minority that's mean, but I was so sensitive to it then and so put off that I stopped even like. So then when I had overcome issues and then I'd share it in a video, people were commenting like, well, why didn't you reach out? Like, why didn't you let us know? We might have been able to have, you know, given you some guidance. So this time I thought, you know, I am going to utilize the community, and I'm glad that I did, because although I've still, of course, had the negativity, you know, from the minority, which has been difficult to deal with, because, you know, when you're like, I'm going through something here, if you haven't got anything nice to say, scroll on. But on the most part, people have been so bloody helpful. And, you know, it is really quite nice, actually, to feel that there is this wider community that's cheering you on. So,
Yeah,
thank you,
definitely.
everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. And I suppose that's what happens when you have part of your life online, right? You get to really see how the full spectrum of personalities come into play, the helpful ones, the ones that are also just unhappy in their own lives, that somehow being a shitty person to someone else online makes them feel better. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's just a shame.
It's
But
duality, though. That's how I've been seeing it this week, is that we personally go through these ups and these downs, and that's the duality of life, and that, you know, we can't appreciate the ups if we don't have the downs. But also that when we are in the midst of our hardest times, the duality of the human race and the human spectrum, I think, becomes clear as well.
yeah,
You know, in the past, when I've been through a breakup or something like that, and times are really sad and heartbreaking, but like everyone's rallying around you, and you're like, oh God, I love these people so much. And like that, it's been the same again, where, you know, absolute complete strangers are going out of their way to like research something and find out information for me. And it's like, God, that is so lovely. And then obviously you've got the other end of the spectrum of people just being absolute knobheads.
I'm struggling to understand what there is to be a knobhead about someone struggling to get their bus running. I mean, like, there's no immigrants involved, there's no small boats. Is that the thing? Do they think that you're bringing over immigrants,
Maybe.
possibly?
Well, even one guy had even commented, this was on my personal Facebook. I was just like, dude, but also to everyone else in the comments, like, hop on this guy, tell him to go. So he'd commented saying F off, but as in like the actual word. F off and do the legwork yourself, like we all have to, or something like along those lines. And I just thought, pal, do you think I've put this video up without Googling it first? Like, of course I've Googled it. Of course I've eBay searched it. I'm putting this video out because I'm looking for a scrap part from one of my bus community, like this community that I've grown in the last year. But it's like, is he mad because he thinks I'm getting an easier ride? Or like, what's your problem, Mark Cavendish? Yeah, I've got your number, pal. Like he's only local as well. It's like, who do you think you're talking to? You're on my status telling me to F off. Like,
say the name again for people at the back.
Cavendish. Mark Cavendish. Everyone calls him Cav.
Any Cav I know. I've got a rap about you, actually, sir. Cav. That's it.
But yeah, I just thought, like, you know, if you haven't got anything nice to say, off you go.
Yeah. Fuck you, Cav.
It's actually embarrassing. The funny thing is as well, like I had a look at his profile. He's got a partner, he's got a daughter. It's like, you know, I'm sure if somebody spoke to your daughter like that for no reason, just told her to F off, you'd be absolutely fuming. So don't do it to someone else.
It's baffling, isn't it? It's like,
yeah.
Wow. So what is the legwork? Is it the talking shit to people online? Is that what he's considering? Is that the legwork that you're not partaking in?
It's because I've asked people, I need your help. And he was like, F off and do the work yourself, like we all have to.
But he thinks that part of his work in this world is telling people to fuck off rather than help people.
That's the thing, innit? If you don't want to help, fine. But like, you don't need to be like telling people to F off either. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Can you spell humanity, sir?
This is what I mean about it bringing out stuff and the worst. And then even someone commented on my TikTok, there's 3 of them on eBay. And it's like, but there's not. Like, so they weren't being helpful because they didn't send me the links like everybody else that was trying to find them on eBay. So don't get me wrong, I've been sent a lot of links, a lot of which led to parts that were very similar but not the same. And it's like, I have already looked, you know. So I replied to him saying, well, I've already looked, and at least 6 people that I know of have already looked. So if you've come across this part, send me the link, please. Like, these videos physically asking for help. Don't just comment saying, well, there's 3 of them on eBay. I've just found them. and that you're just trying to be antagonistic rather than actually helpful. Like,
what a waste of your own time as well to be like, oh, let me see if they exist. Yeah, they do.
yeah,
why did you do that with your time?
Oh God, honestly, just But this is what I mean about the duality, because there's been some people that have been so bloody helpful and really like put me in touch with like this, that, and the other. And I mean, even just saying in the comments now about transport museums and like directing you to places to go. And it's like, it's been really, really helpful.
Cool.
Even if it doesn't help me this time for this particular issue, just to have those networks, you know, for future reference and stuff. It's been really nice. But yeah, God, like, I've also really had to kind of just question humanity as well.
Yeah, for anyone who's maybe just joining or not understanding, Bus Different is part Lindzi's home, part Lindzi's business. So she lives at the top of this double decker, and below is a traveling community book bus. It's literally a free library for the community. And it's like, I can't believe how many wars you're fighting in one. Like, not only is Luna the bus not cooperating, she's not starting, trying to figure out why she's not starting. There's also an issue with the land that the bus is on, and you're trying to move on as quickly as you can, but you can't. And it just highlights to me and confirms to me that landlords are the fucking devil. You are disgusting motherfucking people, already making labelless profit off of people's need to have a property. It's just disgusting. I hate landlords, but that's my thing about landlords.
Well, look, and also as well, our actual landlord is sound, but it's that younger generation, the entitled generation coming through that, you know, I can't talk too much on it at the minute, but in a few weeks' time, when my workplace is over, I'll be able to kind of be really clear about all of the issues that are going on. But at the minute, I've got to be diplomatic for the sake of the people that are involved.
So far, Cav, it's just you.
But in the long and short of it is, I've currently got no home, no place to park the bus. The bus isn't starting, so bus life itself is on the rocks because I don't know what's going to go on there. I've got a budget. When the budget runs out, you know, I've got insurance to pay for MOT, like a million and one mechanical things. I'm on a deadline of 3 weeks. It's all got to be done within 3 weeks, and I've got no job. So it's like everything in my world has, by May 22nd, is done. No job, no home, no bus, nothing. So it's very, but my mentality around that is when one thing comes to an end, it's so something else can start. When everything is coming to an end in one go, it's an indicator that it's an opportunity to like rebuild, but from a place of like conscious choice. Like, what do you want? You know, what would your perfect life look like? Because you've got nothing left. So now you can restart from scratch.
So Ian Beale of you.
I've got nothing. We'll have to film that later.
I'm so down.
We'll reenact it.
My God, all that piling on. I mean, for me, as soon as stuff starts to get difficult, my brain protects itself by telling me I don't want to do this anymore. I just don't want to do this anymore. And I make the worst decisions during these moments. And also for you in this point, you're trying a new medication. So there's another added, like, how do you work out right now from a spiritual point of view, whether God, the universe, greater being, Mother Earth, is sending you a message to just quit, this is it, new beginnings, or to persevere and to hold on and weather the storm? How do you know if it's a test or a sign? We're all waiting.
well, and this is the thing. So initially I spoke about the fact that when these things happen, issues, you've got to kind of look at it as, is this a test or is this a sign? Because sometimes we're sent hardships and trials and tribulations to give us like practice. It's like going to the gym and working out on those muscles so that, you know, you build your strength, you build your resilience, you build a particular skill. And sometimes the resistance is consistent, and then you start to get to the point of like, okay, this is trying to redirect me to something else. So in terms of answering that, of what's going on right now, is it a challenge to overcome or is it a sign to give up? The jury is actually still out on that. So I am basically just taking each day and each thing as it comes, and just keeping a really open mind that whatever does pan out, whatever does happen, is what's supposed to happen. Because these last 5 years or so, I've very much developed an internal like understanding of myself, but also like this connection to something bigger. So whether that's source or God or my higher self or whatever you want to label it as. So I feel like, in a sense, it's a test of my own faith, because it's like, you know, you are being seriously tested here, because you could really panic and be like, I've got nothing.
That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah. So it is a test of my faith that I am just trusting the process. But I live by these like little rules that it's never rejection, it's redirection. So if this unit comes back as like, and it's still not fixed, and then the bus still isn't fixed, and then it just kind of keeps being a problem, and eventually all my money's gone, then the decision's made, isn't it? Bus life is over. Like, I've got 3 weeks to get sorted for festival season and a minimal budget that I shaved my head to raise the money for. And then all these unexpected costs have arrived. So it's like, well, if the money runs out, the money runs out. There's not a lot I can do about it. I'll just have to accept that the path I thought I was on is not the path that was meant to be. So it is just very much like kind of just being aware of what's going on, trying not to react to it, trying not to kind of overthink it, which for our brains is super hard, right? Because we kind of want to know, but what if and what if and what if, and I do really struggle with that sometimes. But I just have to keep thinking, but whatever it is, it's going to be for my highest good, because I trust that the universe is working in my favor for my highest good. And that doesn't always mean positive, light, roses. You know, that means going to the depths of your darkness sometimes. And even like all of this stuff that's happening that's triggering me, you know, like the report being reported and being targeted and like this, that, and the other. I am currently working on a wound, like my injustice wound. So I very much notice that I can be a bit like, oh, why me? Why does it always happen to me? Blah, blah, blah. And I know that manifests negative outcomes in itself. So it's something that I do want to work on. And then now suddenly I'm being sent these situations that are triggering those feelings inside. So I know that the universe is just giving me the playground that I've asked for to be able to heal the wounds that I want to. So, you know, it's not happening to me, it's happening for me.
No, definitely. And the neurodivergent brain, like you said, is so prone to thinking like that. It's that very, the way we perceive things, rather than a lot is going wrong right now, it's everything is attacking me, everything is against me. And it might feel like that, but it's not. Reality versus how we think stuff's going. So yeah, I mean, just the cognitive load, it just baffles me and amazes me, honestly, that you're able to take this on. And I fully understand when you explain how well you can just sort of see this like higher meaning or this silver lining or like this faith that stuff will work out, whether it's what you thought you wanted or what you didn't realize you needed at all. It will take you there if you just trust in it. And I love that. That's really beautiful. That is something that I would say science doesn't offer me.
Yeah, because the science is the logic, isn't it? And there's nothing logical about this happening, because the logic is you're doing good things for the community. You've always sacrificed for the sake of others. So why are these bad things happening? That's the logic, you know? But I will tell you that I didn't get to this place overnight. It's through experience and through practice that I've reached this point, because even early on in the bus conversion, I struggled a hell of a lot more at the start of the bus conversion with things going wrong. And the cognitive overload of like, so the amount of phone calls I've had to make these last few days, and I've just done it, which probably the medication has probably helped me with. Hence, I feel like the meds have come at the right time as well. Like the universe knew like shit's going to hit the fan, just like your meds are going to come through at the same time. It's going to help you disassociate slightly from all the stress. And that's how I feel like it has helped. It has helped me just kind of be a bit more blasé, because it's shut my mind down a little bit from, you know, blah, 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 blah. But that, like, the point I want to make is that you don't get to this place of like faith overnight. It takes effort and consistency and putting it into practice, as it were, because it's so easy to say like that you're, you know, that you're working on your spirituality when things are all going really well. And the real test comes when things are testing and aren't going how you want them to and stuff. So, you know, the me from 2 years ago would not be coping as well as I am now. And I'm proud of myself for that. And I feel like that's an element of the universe's playground as well, is that you might feel like, why is this happening to me? I'm going backwards instead of forwards. But really, you're being shown how far you've come.
I love that. Do you feel like you've ever been someone that like regrets the decisions you've made in the past? Or have you always kind of, or is it something you can always look back and say like everything was meant to happen now? I don't know what I'm trying to ask. Like, is that something that you've gained from this as well? Like being able to be at peace with past decisions, whether they were correct or not? Or do you still feel a sense of regret or grief for past decisions?
So growing up, I always had this mentality of I would rather regret doing it than not doing it. So I always took risks and did the things I wanted to do because I understood that even if it went wrong, I'd be pleased I'd tried. So there's an element of like, the only thing I would ever regret would be if I'd let an opportunity pass me by and I hadn't gone for it, and, you know, those kind of things. So for example, when I was in Magaluf, right, I was on this booze cruise and everyone was jumping off into the sea. And as I thought like, oh, sod it, I'm going to do it, it was too late. And that was probably the first time I'd ever felt like a genuine regret in my life. I was like, oh my God, you missed that opportunity there. That same holiday, the opportunity, well, I decided I'm not going to go home. I'm going to get a job on the PR strip as a shot girl or whatever. And what spurred me on was there was the missed opportunity on the boat. It was like, well, you don't want to feel like that again. You'd rather try, do 2 days and fly home again than not try, kind of thing. So I've always had that kind of mentality. But there are things like that I reflect on and think, had I have got the knowledge I have now, I would have handled that a lot differently. But I also understand that the whole point of life is for us to learn. So, you know, developing forgiveness for your past selves because they got you here. You know, they did the best that they knew that they could until they knew better. Like, you can only do what. And the other thing as well is like, if you regret something, that in itself is a lesson. Do you get what I mean? It's like, there's nothing wrong with having a regret, but don't live there. Don't harbor it. Don't allow it to then disrupt every other decision you make. Allow it to teach you, you know, like, I don't want to feel like that again. I don't want to regret it. But also I do believe as well, sorry, I know this is like a long answer.
No.
I'm on 10 mg today, so talk. But I also do believe that if something is meant for you, the opportunity will keep coming back around in different forms. So say if like you're pursuing a singing career and, you know, that's your dream and your goal is to have a top 10 hit, but then an opportunity comes up like to get on the X Factor or something, and you bottle it and you mess it up, you don't go, you wake up with bad anxiety on the day, whatever. And then you're like, oh, that's it, I messed it up, I've missed my opportunity, that's it, I've ruined it, blah, blah, blah. If your destiny is truly to achieve that goal, you know, and you truly believe you can do it, another opportunity will come around. You've just got to have your eyes open and be ready to grab it, kind of thing. So I think definitely. Even in the past, when things have like, I've felt like they've passed me by, maybe I've now in the long run understood like that had to happen that way, so that I learned that skill so that then I could progress into this direction.
No, definitely. It's been summed up beautifully by Emma Jane. What is meant for you will not pass you by. And that is exactly that's very true.
Yeah, I definitely do. And it works the opposite way as well. That like, if you've got a lesson to learn and you keep sticking your head in the sand and avoiding the pain of that lesson, because obviously, you know, certain things can be really hard, then you'll keep meeting other people in other situations that are still trying to provoke the same lesson or the same skill building or whatever. So it's like you can spend your whole life avoiding something that you were meant to learn. You'll just reincarnate and have to do it all over again. So
it's like a video game. You have to just complete the level to get to the next one. There's
that
no
is it. That
whatever
is it.
that
That's
level
how I
may
see
be.
life, a big video game.
With no respawning, taking every level very seriously.
Yeah. And it is a bit like that, though, isn't it? It's like you learn a skill, you practice a skill, and then you level up, and then that skill's natural, and then there'll be opportunities to use that skill, but then opportunities to learn new ones.
Definitely. The reason I ask about the regret and how you look back at stuff is, I mean, and again, it highlights the skills and the things that you've learned that you've literally just said, is the start of this journey. You had an idea of buying a bus, and so many people like, oh, what are you doing that for? You must have heard people saying stuff like, oh, she's going to regret that, blah, blah, blah. And in moments like this, do those voices ever get louder? Because a short came up on my YouTube of you, and the name of it is Life is Hard, Choose Your Hard. And it's you building the bus and like working at it and doing all these things. And it brought a tear to my eye because I was like, God, that was a journey in itself.
Yeah.
And now you still like, you were built for something else. These tests, like, there got to be a point where you're like, what more do you want from me?
My soul wants a serious experience this lifetime, clearly. And that's the thing. Obviously, these last few weeks, I've genuinely weighed up selling the bus, scrapping the bus, you know, like all sorts of options. And I've just genuinely tried to approach each of those with like an open mind, with a bit of hope and excitement, regardless, whatever is in store for me next, whether that is bus life. And there's no regrets in trying it. That's my biggest thing. It's like, I wanted to try it. I went against all the advice and I tried it. And if it doesn't work, it don't work. Like, you know, people could be like, I told you so, but I'd be like, well, you know, because I've lived in it for 18 months. I've been to like all these festivals. I've had all these amazing opportunities. I've essentially achieved what I set out to achieve. So everything extra has been a bonus. And, you know, however it then goes on to develop, I'm cool with it.
I love that.
So, yeah.
Oh, this girl got really good advice. Blessings from Australia. I love that, Philip. Thank you so much. Wow. She really does. She knows what she's talking about. She's the one that's guiding us all right now.
blindly guiding. Like, I'm like, I hope my faith isn't misplaced. Can I just say quickly though? Go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say how you can get some people just like fuck off, get like put in the hard graft like the rest of us, and then you've got some people that are genuinely like, this is really good advice, thank you. And it's like, wow, everyone really does exist.
When you said that, put in the hard graft like the rest of us, I thought, you've got no idea. You've got no idea like what I've been doing for the past few years, mate.
Let me link you to a video of me and my mum.
Yeah, like I've done it all myself. Like maybe that's his problem.
Women. Oh, how do I get to talk to you? You'd love my story. Where is this bus?
Oh, that's so cute. Well,
we love people's stories.
Yeah, we do. And if you look on busdifferent.com, you'll see all of the festivals that we're going to be appearing at this year. And if there's one local to you, then try and get to us. Oh, Laura as well. I reread Moon's Magic and Manifestations today. One of the best things I've read. Oh my God, that makes me so happy. Don't make me cry now, guys. I've been feeling so down in the dumps, and now you're bringing all the love. Like, oh, this is so sweet. And I've got like the second installment for Moon's Magic and Manifestations to come out. But just talking about like those signs from the universe, there was one thing I forgot to say when we was talking about what I've been going through these last few weeks. So I was obviously, when it first started happening and there was like pressure to move the bus won't start. No one knows what the problem is. I'm panicking about money. You know, when it first happened, I did spiral a bit. You know, I was upset. I was distressed. And then eventually I just kind of got to the point where I was exhausted with it. And I was just like, whatever, what will be kind of thing. And so I was driving along the first time. Did I tell you this about the signs and the songs? I don't think I did that because we didn't do the podcast last week. I mean, maybe I've told you personally, but I don't think I've shared it on the podcast. But yeah, so I was driving along and I was thinking like everything through, like, oh God, you know, like what am I going to do? And I've got no job. And like, because I go through stages, like one day I'm like, it's all going to work out fine. And the next day I'm like, oh my God, but what if it doesn't? You know, you do have ups and downs still.
You are human, good to know.
Yeah. And I'm like thinking of these things. And then the song comes up on my radio and it says Sis. So that's my sister in spirit. Like that's her little like song when I'm like, oh, so it was like quite nice that it popped on at that point. And I was like, hey up, babe. I was like, thank you. I know you're always like with me. And it immediately gave me comfort in my time of like need. But I was like, sorry, I don't want to listen to this song. And like skipped it. And the next one said asking ? The song title. So then I was like, oh, like, are you trying to tell me something? Because I don't know why. It just felt like it was like she was trying to get a message through to me. So I was like, okay, what's the message? Skip to the next song. The next song, I'm not even kidding, was called Follow the Plan, Not Your Mood. Like, that advice stayed with me from that point. Yeah, it freaked me out because it's just gave me chills all over again. Because it's like I've got so many songs on this plan list that's not even like a normal song title, is it? Like Follow the Plan, Not Your Mood. Do you know what I mean? But it was so spot on, and she was right that yeah, actually, stick to the plan. Your moods are going to change, but the plan, you know what your plan is, so stick to it. At least then you've got a focus, regardless of your mood going all over the place. So it was like really lovely advice, and I felt really supported then. And then I don't know if it was that night or the next day that I went into Morrison's to get some food, and there was a song playing, and it was something to do with like, you know, keep on going type thing. So in my head, I was like, oh, is that you guys? Like, you know, thanks, like, you know, giving me this, like, keep on going. Because I felt so kind of like peaceful, but like where you're emotionless, where you burnt out type thing, but you're not feeling down with it. You're just like, and so I was like, oh, thank you kind of thing. And I was just enjoying like picking some nice food. And then the next song that come on was Ace of Base, I Saw the Sign. So then I was almost like laughing to myself because as I'm like going, oh, is that a sign, guys? The next song was like, I saw the sign. I opened up my eyes. I saw a sign. And I was like, oh my God, it was you. Thank you. Like, but it immediately like put a smile on my face. You know what I mean? It made me feel really like I'm not alone. I've got this whole spirit team that's saying, no, we are supporting you through this, you know, keep going type thing.
No, definitely.
Can you both stand up? Want a better look of your shirts? T-shirts.
I thought that was a perv. It's Cat.
I know.
Yes, I will. Because it's Cat's birthday today, 100%. My thing's backwards.
Oh yeah, yours is a True Vibes.
You got me this for my birthday.
I did. And mine says mystical.
Yours looks like the barefoot one.
It's very similar actually. My mum bought me this one, but yeah, I suppose it is very similar to the barefoot one. Yeah,
I love the colours of that.
Yeah. Oh, a barefoot one is a purple T-shirt, but I can't remember what colour the print is on that. But yeah, God, it is really similar. I haven't realised. So in terms of like, obviously I've gave a spiritual lowdown of dealing with, because I've really found the spiritual side of things has helped me with my mental health and like, you know, complete that. But if someone's watching this and they find it hard to believe in something that they can't see, or, you know, they're only at the start of their journey, so they're not going to be like as kind of deep into that as I am right now. Have you got any kind of advice for ways to reduce the pressure if you're going through lots all at once? What would you recommend that people do?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, my first thing is to just learn how the brain works and learn that if you are, let's have a look. I did actually write a lot of stuff down. I always write stuff before, and then I'm like, when I'm actually got the camera on me, I'm like, I just feel rude reading it rather than talking.
Whilst you're opening that, Emma, if you're still watching, Emma Jane, and you said about chatting to us, do send us an email with your story, by the way. We do love to hear people's stories.
Yes, please. Sorry, I wasn't fully paying attention. Did you say how to contact us?
No, I just said just to send us an email, but the email address is a different podcast official at gmail.com or Lindzi ADHD at outlook.com. But if you go onto busdifferent.com, you'll find all of our contact details and things there.
Yeah, definitely. So what's actually happening psychologically when all things bad happen at once and it feels like impossible to get out of? This isn't just stress, this is literally a system overload where fight, flight, fright, freeze, there's so many, they're adding more every so often, every new DSM. You can see them all kicking off at once in some cases. And just being able to be kind to yourself, being like, okay, I am dealing with a lot. That reframing of everything's attacking me, trying to change that to a lot is happening to me right now. So of course I'm feeling it more than I generally would.
And even if it doesn't feel like a big thing, sorry to cut in there, but you know, sometimes people are there like, I shouldn't, you know, my friend's dealing with so much stress that I should be able to deal with this. And sometimes there's an element of shame, but if it stresses you out or upsets you, no matter how big or small you think of it as being, your feelings are valid. Do you know what I mean? Like
definitely.
If it's bothering you, it's bothering you. Never ever feel like ashamed of how big or small that problem seems to be.
Validating those feelings is a lot quicker way of processing them than shoving them down and being like, no, I'm okay, I've got this. Like, say to yourself, this sucks. This really sucks right now. Oh, okay, let's go back to the suckiness and try again. Like, I acknowledge this is hard.
Yeah, I've literally done a video today, I've not shared it yet, about naming feelings. Like, because yesterday I was so panicky, and the minute I said it out loud, like, I feel really panicky, and like tried to explain it to my mum, and then I suddenly felt fine because it's like I'd aired it.
It happens a lot. A very key bit of advice that's given to people with social anxiety at work, people that have to talk during meetings, can't stand the pressure on them. A lot of the time, if you just address to the room, I'm really sorry, I have anxiety, this might be a little bit clunky as I talk, I might sweat a little, I might need to stand up for a second. Generally, you feel like you've just shared a part of you with the room, and it puts you at ease because you're so okay with you about to make these decisions. Because all you need is a room full of people going, yeah, that's fine, don't worry about it. If that doesn't happen, then obviously that's a really horrible workplace to be in, and I'm sorry. But generally, the room will be very welcoming and understanding. And I've found for myself, honestly, that's like all I need to be like, okay, if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. No one's going to
because it's more the pressure, right? The pressure to get it perfect and stuff. Whereas if you've already pretensed it, like, look, I might mess this up.
This podcast has really helped me, I'm not going to lie, and stuff like that.
Good.
But yeah, understanding that the brain is not going to be making as many... the decision making is going to be ridiculous because you've got so many and you've only got a certain capacity for how much your brain can process. Try and limit things. So rather than looking at the bigger picture, in Lindsay's case being like, I've got this, I got this, I got this, what is today? And I think you've been doing that, right?
Yeah,
you've
that's the only way I've been able to manage. That's to the side now. Now I'm focusing on this. Compartmentalizing.
Definitely. And celebrating the little wins. Do you know what I mean? There's I can see you doing that as well. You have to make sure that you are rewarding yourself and giving yourself that dopamine, or at least trying, because oh God, the fact that you and anyone with a situation that you feel like it's too much, the fact that you are still there, maybe trying to seek help, like how can I, shows that you still care, and it's not a case of like you're lazy and that you can't be bothered, like you're really struggling with something. There's a lot going on right now, and talking nasty to yourself is definitely not going to make anything easier. Why is this always happening to me? Manifesting even more crap, possibly.
Yeah. Well, if shaming yourself doesn't work this long, it's not going to work now, is it? You know.
Exactly. And a brain at full capacity is a foggy one. It moves slower. The cognitive behavioral therapists see the brain as a computer. So if you imagine you've got too many tabs open, of course it runs slower. There's also another thing to be said about learned helplessness, and if you are a parent of a child in the mainstream school, you may understand how much learned helplessness goes on. Basically people being set up for failure. But when things go wrong and the brain starts to go, what's the point? I'm done with this. Like, why do I even do this to myself? That isn't weakness. That is conditioning. And if you try, still things don't work out, your brain starts protecting you by lowering effort. So if I know this happens for me, this is when my ego kicks in. I didn't want that anyway. Being really mindful, and like you said, to work out, differentiate, is this a test? Is this a sign? A way that I would ask people to differentiate, like, is understanding what you really want from this. And how do you do that? It's by, oh, for fuck's sake. I was chasing the words then.
Oh no. Do you know, I'd thought of something that I was going to add in, and I can't. That's gone out of my head now. All of a sudden, like,
God, I'm like, maybe it's what I was thinking. It's gone in your head. Get it out.
Well, yeah, maybe it was, because what I was going to say was, it's almost like set a limit. Like with me, I know there's a certain amount of money in my bank. I can only give it that. When it's gone, it's gone. So it's almost like, if you're not sure whether you're meant to be pushing through it or whether you're meant to be redirecting, think, right, I'm going to give it my best shot at this task, and if it fails, then I'll take it as that I've gave it my best and it's time to look at a different option. So it's almost like, rather than just blindly chase, kind of like set a target, set a limit, set some kind of like cut-off point, I suppose, that then you're like, okay, then I can reasonably say I gave it my best shot.
That is very helpful in exactly what I was going to say. The idea is the indicator is how much time it's taken you to come to that decision. So like you say, if you're setting yourself a time, a certain marker, then I've given myself that much time, or you know that you've not just made a rash decision out of emotion. If it's something you've reflected on for a while and you're like, you feel stronger and more pulled towards it, then it seems like a sign.
Sleeping on it, right? Because sleeping on it is just, you can really feel like the whole world's coming to an end, and then the next day you're like, why did I feel so like I'd got no options? Because you always look at things differently the next day. So sleeping on it is just such a big one. Like, park it, look at it again tomorrow.
Mood and perspective are so like, it's like you can meet two different people within the same body throughout the day, depending on how they're feeling, then what their beliefs are from that. For me, if I'm having a good time, then it's like, manifestation's great. All you got to do is make sure that you persist at it. If I'm having a bad day, then it's like,
what a load of crap. Like, oh, right, this is really works. Like, I know what you mean.
But that, again, that I think, and maybe it does work within psychotherapy. Maybe I'm yet to find that method that does help me with that. But that is the element that I really admire within the way that you, within your spirituality, progress and navigate those things.
I think so. Would you say writing it down is a helpful tactic? Like, sometimes for me, just getting all my options on the page or getting all my issues on the page, I've found to be helpful. Is that like a common tool?
You're familiar with the morning pages ritual, right?
Yeah.
That was taught to me in psychotherapy class. I can't remember the lady's name now, but the idea of just every morning taking a couple of pages to just write. Yeah, definitely. And if that's something that's going on with you in a personal, whatever's happening in that moment, that's probably what's going to be coming out in these writings. I found for me, it wakes me up as well. If I do it when I first wake up, my first few lines, I'm just yawning through them, like, I'm just yawning. That's what I'm writing. I'm yawning. I'm tired. I don't want to get up. I wish I'd stayed in bed. And suddenly it turns into a lot more of a like, okay. And then also trying that later on in the day and comparing, who are these two people? doing one later at night and doing like before you go to bed and doing one in the morning, you might meet two very different people. But yeah,
that's the thing I
love getting it out, whether you're drawing it, writing it, get it out. Sorry,
I struggle with that sometimes, knowing what's my own thought and what's conditioning and what's a mood and what's, you know, because I can swing from one extreme to the other in the same day. Like, you know, so yeah, I think sometimes it's good just to take time to reflect. It's like, you know, you might have two different feelings, two very opposite ends of the feelings, but were you hungry? Were you tired? You know, were you worn down by the day? It's a bit like you say, don't make that decision in that from a place of emotion, especially a big decision.
Also understanding that we are so multidimensional that these two parts of us, or multiple parts, are equal.
Exist at once,
Yeah, so making decisions for both of you so that both of you are happy moving forward. However that can be. Maybe it's a negotiation between the two. Maybe it's
or setting that time limit where it's like, okay, try for this long, and then if it, you know, if it's still pushing back and you feel like the effort's not matching the gain, then readdress it.
Yeah, 100%.
Another thing that I saw recently that I think is a good point to raise is that we've always said like getting it off your chest is a good thing and talking it through is a good thing. But this thing that I read was talking about that actually going on and on about something. So I'm presuming that first time venting it, getting it off your chest is healthier. But apparently talking something through over and over, like a traumatic situation or whatever it is, can actually cause greater trauma in the long run, greater damage in the long run. I can't remember now the reasoning behind it, you know, like what the research lent upon for why that was. But is that something that you've heard about, or does that like ring a bell?
To me, that sounds like someone that is stuck in a loop before they're actually getting any healthy tools to deal with that.
Okay. Yeah.
Or they've maybe gotten a little bit far into the treatment to be able to understand, well, this is PDA, this is that. But all they can get far is to be like, oh, and this is what I've got, and that they'll go to help meetings, or they'll go to communities or hang out with friends, and people will be like, they just talk about the same thing over and over, and like, God, no wonder they're miserable. And to some extent, yes. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that they're making themselves ill. That is a symptom of them still not receiving the help that they need. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a reflection of where they are in that journey.
Yeah, definitely. So talking things out is fantastic. Are you talking to the right person? Are you getting the tools and the techniques that you need to be able to navigate those thoughts? Also understanding that we live in a world with other people, and not everyone always wants to hear what we're going through, blah, 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 to be mindful. Yeah, definitely. I could say we can't help the cards that we're dealt, but it is our responsibility to make sure that it doesn't impact other people or ourselves.
Yeah.
So if I was in a session and I found that someone was just going round and round and not really, I'd be wanting to understand what about the tools I'd presented weren't working, or maybe I'm not presenting enough tools, and try and work out, we're talking about this a lot. Do you possibly have more comfort in this perspective? You're so used to being negative, this Eeyore syndrome, right? It's a type of depression.
Yeah.
Often it is more comfortable to people to sit within negativity and to be more pessimistic, because that is their protection.
Yeah. They can't be disappointed if they already had their expectations so low.
Yeah, definitely. So always advocate for talking about it. If you feel like you've talked about it a lot and still aren't getting any help, then it's maybe time to look at why that is, for sure.
Because that's the other thing to be aware of for ADHDers in particular, is that we are seeking for dopamine, and that gossiping, getting angry about things, going over stuff that riles you up can actually recreate that feeling of dopamine. So, you know, it's like important to be aware of that so that you don't get stuck in that rut of like, because I've been guilty of it in the past, like certain people that I'd hang around with, I'd almost be like saving up all the gossip to tell them, you know, we'd be talking about that person, oh, did you see what they've done, blah, blah, blah. And I understand now that both of us were getting a kick out of that, because we were dopamine seeking, but it wasn't doing our internal systems any good to be going, like, it was actually, we were actually causing like distress to our internal systems, but that feeling felt good.
Yeah, there's something strange that humans do where we bond by
hating the same person or having a shared issue.
But you can do that within a friendship group. Say you got 9 girls, you'll all have your conversations talking shite about each other realistically, and it's like, do men do this? I think they do. I think they like to make out they don't, but I think they do.
I've always, I always remember, because I hung around with lads a lot when I was younger, and I remember my mum saying, I thought men didn't have drama, but they have more drama than the girls. So I think it's just a human nature thing. We like to gossip, but gossip is actually quite toxic. Okay, someone's in the chat saying, no, we don't really. And I think actually there probably is an element of men where they don't get the emotional side of it that we do they? They just take things as they come.
Yeah, we're very like human oriented. Women are very like we're interested in people. Men, and again, I'm sorry about gender studies. This is very level grade. Don't come for me. But masculine males, cis males, tend to be more into things rather than people.
I think it
depends on your group for sure.
Yeah, and what Dane said as well, we do, but more on an open forum. I think men are perhaps more likely to say, you've done my head in today, and have a bit of an argument about it, and then the air's cleared and they just get on with it, whereas women perhaps harbour it and return to the same issue. I'm not sure. But I suppose there's probably elements of it in both genders. I don't suppose it's, as clear cut as like women do this and men do this.
No, definitely. It comes from more a piss taking. Do you know what? I had a conversation with someone recently that someone was like, oh, women don't joke with each other enough. And I was like, what?
We do. Well, we do. I love ripping my mates. And I love it when they rip me.
You have to. Oh my God. Like, sometimes, especially like if your friends are anything like you, fuck me. Like they're gonna be nuts. Do you know what I mean? Like, and when I'm say you, I mean I'm assuming most of us here are neurodivergent. If you're not, God help you. Godspeed them for being here and putting up with us.
Yeah, but if you're watching and enjoying our podcast but have never considered yourself ADHD or autistic, I would take this as a sign.
I didn't want to say it, but
but I think there's something to be said for that. Neurodivergent spectrum is broader than what the mainstream gives it credit for. So, it can terrify some people when you suggest they might be on the neurodivergent spectrum. It's like, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Just means different. That's what we're all about.
That is what we're all about.
But yeah, I think like history shows us biologically, we can see that gossip draws people together, but also fractures on a wider scale. So it's a very interesting one. But yeah, also being cruel, like you say, it goes into if you spend your life being cruel. However, what is this argument for how like nasty people seem to live longer? What's that about?
I know. I wonder if that's though because they don't hold back. Whereas we want to fuck off now and again, but we don't, because we understand that person's probably got a lot going on, and we're kinder, so we do shove things down more so, just out of being like. So maybe it's that they just go around expressing themselves because they're not worried about upsetting people.
You're so right. How much stress comes from just trying to be socially accepted?
Yeah, and not in a like people pleasing way even. Sometimes, it's just the fact that being courteous makes for a more nice society, and that means squashing some of your feelings sometimes, So it's a hard one to like fathom out, isn't it?
Yep.
But I do massively believe that our words are so powerful and so important. So if if you're constantly yapping spiteful stuff about people, I do think that conjures an element of like negative energy, whether that's something that ends up being stored internally or whether something in your reality starts to reflect it. I do think we have to be really careful, and even saying like I am, I'm so rubbish, or I'm such a stress head, or it's like, don't own that. You might feel like that right now, but that, you know, that I am sentence is so powerful. So it's like, you know, to be honest, this last 2 weeks I've spent when I'm driving, I'm like, I am courageous, I am brave, I am capable, you know, and I've been trying to like keep up with those affirmations, which I've not had to do for months, but this is when you get your toolkit out, isn't it? And you like try to boost your mindset.
No, definitely. I remember it reminds me of a university. It was a practical seminar where a woman just started with like, I can't remember who she walked up to. It was just one of the women in the group, and she was like, "Here's a post-it notepad thing." She was like, "Write down all the things that you don't like about yourself." And she was like, "Okay," like whatever. And everyone that started with "I'm" or "I am," she stuck it on her. And then just stuck it on her. And then she like wrote a load of like the opposite, and she was just like, "Why aren't you this?" And the girl was just kind of like, I don't know. She was like, "Do you want that one? Or do you want this one? Because it's up to you.
Yeah,
You're saying
you're
I am.
Yeah.
This is your ownership. Do you know what I mean?" And she was like, "I want that one." She was like, "Well, take this one then." She was like, "What about the next one?" And she just went through changing everything. She was like, and that's as simple as it is.
Yeah.
You attribute yourself to one thing, you can attribute yourself to the other. It reminds me of, and I don't know why, maybe you can help me understand what the link is. When someone says we can't have plus size models because it will inspire people to be really big.
Yeah.
It will encourage people to be unhealthy. We've had slim models this whole time, and I have never fallen into being super skinny, and I've seen all these influencers on Instagram. I've never fell into looking
That's
like
a good
any of
point.
them. So
that's a really good point. That's just an excuse for why we don't, I think. I don't think that there's actual weight in that, because actually by having skinny models, you're reinforcing something unachievable in most people, because it's common knowledge that to be as slim as some of these models, you actually end up not having a period cycle, that it's unhealthy for your body to live on such a low calorie take or fat take or whatever. So it's ironic, really, isn't it? Because it's like it's okay to have those people in the public eye continually causing like mental health issues and comparison issues and all the rest of it, and yet there's excuses for not having someone who's perhaps the other end of that spectrum in the public eye.
It's nuts, right?
I think it is. It's just an excuse to keep those beauty standards, the beauty expectations going.
It's just so double standard. If you try and look too pretty, you're a slut and you're trying to get attention for your looks. And if you don't do anything, then you're ugly, you're not trying, you're not pulling the weight that the rest of us have to.
Oh, yeah, no, it's very frustrating. Can we just I'm gonna tell you something that I heard this week, which is actually really nice. It might be a nice way to close it, but I didn't want to just be like, can we end with this, in case you might not be ready to end yet.
I love that. Let's go.
This guy, and I'm going to do a little content video to share what I heard, so you guys are going to hear it first. So he held a cup of water. You might have seen this because I think it was quite an old video. He held a cup of water out to all his students, and he was like, "How heavy is this cup of water?" And everyone was like guessing, you know, it's however many ounces, like blah blah blah. And he was like, "Okay, let's all agree that the cup of water is half a pint or whatever, 16 ounces." He's like, "If I hold this cup of water for 3 hours, how heavy is it going to feel then? And if I hold this cup of water all day, how heavy is it then?" And he's like talking about the fact that stress, if you look at stress in the same, or your problems in the same light, you don't have to hold it. Like the longer you hold it, the heavier it's going to feel. And I saw that right when I needed to, in the sense that, like we've been saying with the each bus issue, like today, the ECU stuff, it's like, well, I can't deal with the next stage of that till tomorrow afternoon. So I've put that down. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to hold on to that if, buts and maybes of that situation, because I can't deal with that till tomorrow. So I've put it down. And it's just, I just thought it was a really nice physical demonstration of like, you know, this suffering that we put ourselves through because we refuse to just let go of something. But I thought it was a nice way to see it. Like, that glass of water or your stress is going to get heavier the longer you hold it. So remember to give yourself a little break from it.
No, I love that. That's wicked. I haven't seen that.
It'll probably pop up now that, you know, now we've spoke about it. You got on Instagram, it'll be like the first reel that you see.
One of these devices is listening, I'm sure. Hello. I'm an idiot.
That's funny. We've got someone in the chat saying I'm a princess. That's hilarious.
I'm a princess. Botox convention. Wait,
maybe that. I think maybe that was the chat we were having about.
It's Gordon Ramsay.
I definitely could probably do with a few shots of Botox, to be fair.
Yeah, unfortunately none here. Send money if you'd like it to be, but
No, I don't like the idea of putting poison in my face.
No, and on top of that, there is a thing you can give yourself, which is just you give yourself depression by stopping you from pulling any faces. Like, we know the brain doesn't know the difference between fantasy and real life. So if you aren't giving a big smile like you're used to, if your brain is stopping you doing that, you're not getting the happy feelings that you're supposed to be getting. Yeah.
Well, that's a conversation to have, isn't it?
Beverly Hills studies. This is a real thing. Look into it. Be careful, guys.
Well, that is fascinating, and I feel like I'm a princess is a beautiful way to end.
Yeah, do you know what, man? So are we. So, to all the princesses and the princes and the kings and queens out there, and to you arseholes that have nothing better to say, you minorities will not bring us down. And to the people that have followed us and supported us the whole time, thank you so much. If you've just joined us today, I hope we haven't scared you off. Please come back again next Wednesday at 6 p.m. My kitten makes me laugh a lot, so uplifting, just smiling. My kitten does too, but also makes me very mad sometimes.
Smiling is a hack though, isn't it? If you're feeling down and you force a smile, it actually makes you feel a bit better.
I think we should get laughter therapy, laughter yoga. What's her name? Laughter yoga?
Yeah, laughter therapy. What is it? Yeah,
therapy.
Laughter therapy, I think it is, isn't it? Yeah,
we'll have to get her on for sure. I'm sure she'd love to come on, and we can talk more about that. I used to be a minority, but I'm all right now.
You found your crew with us.
I love that. So yeah, I am going to end the stream. Sorry, I was looking to see which button it was. I thought it had changed, but it's still there. And I don't know if you've got any things to shape.
I've got my diary. I can. The news was on at my mum's the other day, and it really made me giggle because she pretty much did exactly that. Got her papers out. I was like, why are they still doing it? We all know you're faking it.
Right, okay. All my stuff was going to fall off then. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye.